We have some breaking news. Of course, the WGA has actually made a deal with the AMPTP. And that leads me to our featured story of the night. All right, everybody. As I said, you've probably seen the news, you're seeing it right now. We're going to talk about the WGA and the AMPTP finally coming to some kind of agreement here to end the strike, finally. So they actually sat down, they started on Wednesday, they negotiated all the way through Sunday. There was stuff coming out Saturday night being like, a deal is looming, it's gonna happen soon. There's some people out there, I'm gonna throw a little shade before I get into this. There's some people out there doing these YouTube things that like to say, oh, clickbait, the strike is done. They were doing it on Saturday night, the strike wasn't done. And then, WGA and AMPTP were talking and they didn't settle until late last night. And I just think that YouTube people need to just chill out. Don't make clickbait when it's not done yet. That's all I'm saying, because I saw some people out there kind of upset me a little bit because you didn't know it could have gone to next week, but I'm very happy there's a deal. The deal is not done. It hasn't been ratified yet, but that's how this goes. Once the lawyers figure it out, they make a deal. Now it's going to go to the board, and the WGA East and West have to approve this, the councils, and they have to then send it to the membership to ratify it, to vote. So Tuesday it's going to go to the councils and they're going to actually talk about it and see if they're going to send it to the membership, and then it'll go out for a vote. And when the members actually vote to rectify it and make it go into fruition, then it will be ratified and it will become a thing and the WGA strike will be done. Now, as of right now, the WGA is still telling the members that they're still striking. The strike is not done until they've actually ratified it, until the board actually says something. Then there's this whole thing that might happen when the memberships are getting the voting through and they're going to do ratification, that they might be able to go back to work. But they also said they're going to stand up and support SAG-AFTRA and not start writing until SAG-AFTRA gets their deal. But I'll say this right now. I think that's not going to happen, because I think they can say it right now. That's great. But once the deal is signed, then you have a deal, and if you break that deal, you're breaking the deal, and then that's a breach of contract. So I think it sounds great right now, but I feel like they will start writing, and that's what studios want. They want them to start writing while they negotiate with actors, get that deal worked out, and then we'll have scripts ready to go, productions will be up, and then the actors can go back to work. And hopefully the AI stuff will be figured out. I mean, they say they have a great deal, monumental. They're saying AMPTP said their best and final offer. They said on Sunday, and it must be because they said it's good to go. And I'm excited to see, because we're all fighting over AI. They must have figured it out. The writing rooms are figured out. They must have figured it out. They haven't put the logistics out yet. They will put it out before it goes to the membership, so the membership knows exactly what the terms are for this new contract. And when we know that, we will tell you too. But it's a big thing. It's a big step forward, and the WGA will stop picketing. SAG-AFTRA will keep picketing. There's no date set yet for SAG-AFTRA and AMPTP to start negotiating again, but it probably won't be that far, fingers crossed, if the AMPTP and the WGA have decided that they will not start up until there's a SAG-AFTRA deal. But we don't know that 100% until we get more news. It'll probably start coming in tomorrow or Wednesday. We'll find out more once we get the deal details, and then they push forward. But it's a big day because it's been 5 months. I mean, it's been a long time, and there's a deal, and SAG-AFTRA is still, after 73 days, still waiting for a deal. So I'm excited. I know we've been talking about it for a long time on this program, and I have people here that know a lot about this too. So I want to talk about this. Let's break it down for a second. So, Sabrina, I'm going to go to you first here, okay?
Yeah.
What do you think about this? Do you think that this means that SAG-AFTRA is going to follow suit very soon after this, or do you think that the, AMPTP will make us wait a little bit longer? What do you think?
Well, I mean, first of all, the deal with the writers has to be ratified by all of its members. So that's the thing. It's not an overnight situation. Even though they reached a tentative deal, it doesn't mean it's over. So there's that. That's number one. Even the writers don't know, like the people in the guild don't know what the details of the deal is. So that's, very hard to say. Like, we don't know what they agreed upon. We don't know what they thought was appropriate. Like, we have no idea, right? So that's questionable. My guess is that it probably will pass, because it usually does. And after such a long stand against this situation, I just feel like they're not going to settle. So that makes me feel good about it. Also, I feel like for the actors addressing this comment, once the deal is ratified with WGA, they have to invite them to come back to talks, and then that has to start happening. For the writers, it took 5 days before they came to an agreement. So I'd say by the end of the week, we should probably hear about talks with SAG. It's going to be probably a week of negotiating and then a week of ratifying it and voting and things like that. So
it's the same process. If you go to the board has to approve it, then send it to the membership, and the membership has to vote. It's the same process, and right, Sabrina. But there's also the idea, good, hire the writers, but not the actors. Makes sense. You're right.
The thing is, though, like it's a process. So like their contract was up first, so they did their negotiations first, and then they'll move on to SAG. It's the same thing like going to court for anything. Right? Like you get an arraignment and then you have a trial. It's like just takes so fucking long when it should just be like a very easy thing, but it just isn't, unfortunately.
There's also the idea that maybe
these will go back into production immediately, and
that's a big thing. Like the late night. Well, it depends, Sabrina. Yes, they should.
You can't have guests on that are promoting anything.
But also it depends, because if the writers actually support SAG-AFTRA and they don't go back to work, then the late night won't start back up either. They'll have to wait.
I just don't.
But I don't think that's gonna happen. I think they'll be back. They're saying they're ready to ramp up.
You just can't have guests. You'll have guests like Bill Nye the Science Guy, or like the guy with the fucking the zookeeper guy with all the animals and stuff. You can't have actors. You know the guy I'm talking about, right? He's on Jimmy Kimmel all the time.
Carson guy.
He has like a lizard on his shoulder.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Onto him. You know the guy I'm talking about. The zookeeper guy. Yeah. I don't know his name, but that guy. People like that. But you cannot have actors who are promoting a show or promoting a movie or promoting anything.
Tiger King?
That's
Tiger King. The Tiger King will be there.
Not that guy. No, isn't he in jail?
He is in jail.
Tiger King?
Yeah.
No, I'm
he's in
definitely
jail.
not talking about him. I'm talking about a literal person who brings the animals to the set. There was a parody about him on Saturday Night Live. I'm Brian Fellows. Do you not know? Who am I?
I'm Brian Fellows.
Right? Who played Brian Fellows? Anybody? Anybody? Tracy Morgan. You guys are killing me. But literally, that guy is been on Jimmy Kimmel a million times. So people like that can be on the show, but they cannot have people promoting things. Celebrities can be on, to be fair. Celebrities can be on, but just not. They cannot promote anything, which is
unless it's one of the interim agreement things, and it's actually they're getting promotion for that.
Right.
These independent things, they could promote that
but
based off the SAG-AFTRA agreements. It depends what it is. They have to follow in those contracts.
Call me crazy. Is the best part of like late night TV the monologue, like all the jokes and all the things like before you sit down with the guests? Yeah, like I love that part. So no celebrities aside, like you still get the good, the good dish in the beginning.
Paul, what do you think about this? Is this going to be good? Do you think these you're saying the late night shows will probably come back? Do you think though that it'll be following suit with SAG-AFTRA soon? We'll get a deal, get negotiated, or think they're going to actually wait for, AMPTP waited for a long time for the writers. Think they'll do the same thing for us, or they get this moving forward and get everybody back to work?
I think this is the sign of them wanting to get things going and getting back to work. I think that getting a deal with WGA is a big get, and I don't think WGA would sign anything that wasn't a good deal at this point. They've been doing this for so long. I think that it's a negotiation. There's going to be a side that doesn't get everything they want, and the other side doesn't get everything they want, but enough to get going. And so now they can move on to SAG, and it's still going to be a long process. I don't see this ending like tomorrow, but it is a step in the right direction. And like you were saying, the talk shows I keep hearing are coming back probably by next week at the latest. And I just don't know what that's going to be like. But like you were saying,
Brian Fellows.
The monologues are the best part, and you're right. And I could sit there and listen to Colbert talk about.
Oh, I love him.
And I don't sometimes skip the celebrities that come on to promote whatever. I just don't care.
I do too.
We'll see we'll see what happens.
Have you listened to the podcast, the 5 Force 5? What is it called?
Strike Force 5.
Strike Force 5.
Yeah. That's what all the talk show hosts have been doing.
Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers.
Gotcha.
Like it's really, really fun. Really fun.
And they've been using that.
Check that out. Thank you.
Yeah. You should absolutely check it out. It's great. Strike Force 5.
That like during the late night shows, he like literally was just like riffing, and he like even took off his wedding ring to see how much like a spin.
Oh.
Does seem right.
That sounds right.
Good strike.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I think Conan O'Brien did that like years ago.
He did Conan O'Brien. Yeah.
Yeah. It was the last strike, not this strike.
Yeah. But this is all big news, and like they're already saying the Drew Barrymore show that's probably going to come right back next week. The talk.
Well, she was trying to come back already.
All the ones we were talking about. They're getting nailed because they're like, shouldn't be working. I know Dancing with the Stars is going to start tomorrow. There was a back and forth about if they were going to actually start or not. Like ABC was debating, but they were saying they're moving forward because regardless, last strike they were shooting during the writers' strike anyways. They have one WGA member on their actual board or on their team, so it's like they were like, we're going to keep going because they say they don't need. It's a WGA show, so they shouldn't have, but they were still going to be picketed. But it's starting tomorrow because of all this, and everyone's going to follow suit. Bill Maher will be back. I tell you that probably by Friday. Expendables 4 wasn't able to clear $8 million because of no promotion. It hurt a lot of people. Expendables didn't do well.
I'm going to pull up I didn't even know it was out yet. I'm going to pull up the initial comment. I'm sorry, not being able to promote anything is going to kill a lot of movies. And it is. It really has. It does hurt. But they're like, it's like, do you hold everything until it's over? You know what I mean? Like it's a tough decision to make, I guess. You know?
They pushed back Dune Part 2.
Yeah. Oh well, they're not gonna fuck around with Dune.
Broke my heart. I was so excited for that movie, but they said we don't want to lose out on being able to promote. Look at the star power in that film.
Yeah,
I know.
I get it. Yeah.
One of my coworkers literally said that as he was watching the original Dune, that he had a moment where he was super depressed and sad because he knew he would never be able to experience this again for the first time.
Oh, wow.
That is some prolific shit, bro. I literally was like, what? Did you just fucking say?
That's wild.
But that Nick, by the way.
I can see Nick being like that.
About the original 1983 movie?
No.
The first one. Yeah, I know, right?
Okay.
He's like 12. He's definitely not. No.
I get that a little more.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I was like, I fell asleep 4 times. He was like, what?
Promotion helps a lot. You're like Colossus Rex. A lot of people like the promotion. It helps. That's why they do it. That's why they go to every talk 100%. Show. And they're on podcasts and doing all that. Seth, what do you think? Do you think that this WGA agreement is going to go through and, they're going to do SAG right away? Or will there still be a lull? What do you think about WGA getting a deal?
I think it's great. I'm really happy that it's kind of things are finally moving forward because I didn't think that we were going to see this until December.
New Year.
Yeah. I didn't think these things are going to move this fast. I feel like, the writers and everything that they were able to come to an agreement, especially with the AI stuff, I think that the studios have a little bit more that they want to try and squeeze out of actors when it comes to the AI stuff. So I think it's going to take a little bit longer. I really do. Because again, it comes down to this thing where they really, of course, with the writers, they wanted to use the AI thing, but with actors, that was like the big thing. You know what I mean? Writers had a whole lot of other concerns. With actors, it was like, oh, we're going to 360 scan you and just use you in whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah.
That's the big selling point. And that they're not really budging on from what I can tell. I think it's going to be a while.
The thing is with the writers, like the AI thing is different. Like Dak Shepard on his podcast basically was like, well, things evolve, right? Like there's an evolution period, right? So like his point was, there's a weird analogy. So it's not mine, it's Dak Shepard's. So don't yell at me, anybody. When people were super important back in the day, they were carried on the shoulders of other people, right? So we had for posts, people carried royalty, right? Then that, slowly changed to a rickshaw situation. And then that slowly changed to a horse and carriage. And then that slowly changed to a car, So he's like, AI is an evolution in writing. And he also is a writer, but he's like the semantics he's not into, but like the dialogue he's good at, or vice versa. I can't remember which one. So he's like, I kind of my own hate the AI thing for writing, but for acting, it is 100% a different fucking story.
Yeah,
100% a different story. They proposed to take a background actor and scan them and then use their image and likeness in perpetuity forever for half a day's fucking paycheck. A half a day's paycheck. That is the most insulting and fucked up thing that I've ever heard in any contract negotiation as long as I've been in SAG, which is 20 years. Like, that is fucking brutal.
Which is a big problem. That's a big problem they have to get through and figure out, because they have been scanning people already. Like I've said before, I was scanned for Ant-Man. I've talked about that in the show before too.
Here's the dog.
Yeah,
I'm getting the dog.
That's Peppy. He's like, hey guys, he's gonna be on the show this week. I think maybe this week or next week. He's gonna join the show, everybody. So get ready for that. But yeah, they have a lot they have to work out, and I'm excited because this is a big move forward. Hopefully you bring me. Hopefully this is a stepping forward, that they will work this out. They will get a deal for SAG, get us back. It probably won't be till the end of the year, if not early next year, depending on how fast they work out the actor contracts. But it's going to take some time, like Seth was saying too. It's going to take some time to figure these out. There's a lot of the AI stuff they have to work out. But maybe they're ready to cave. Maybe they're ready to get everybody back to work. They've lost money during this whole strike. Maybe the AMPTP is ready. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But it's a big day. WGA has a deal, everybody. I know we're excited about it. We want to get this figured out. We want to all get back to work. We want to bring more movies and TV for you. And until there's a deal across the board, nothing's coming.